and I'm happy to welcome back into the Radio Phoenix studio, Mr. Qosmic Qadence.
Yo, it's been a while. It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So you are, tell us about yourself because you operate Poetic Soul, and we need to know about that.
Yeah, so like for everybody, I don't know, anywhere listening or anybody viewing, Poetic Soul is a collaborative arts and culture experience, an open mic, if you will. I don't like to use the words open mic. Open mic's like dirty to me as a performer, because I've gone to so many different open mics, and open mics are just being done wrong here, or the way that open mics typically run is just there's no structure.
How are they being done wrong? Like
I say, there's no structure in these spaces, and there's also just no professionalism of or that's coupled in addition to the good performances. Maybe there might be some bad performances. I don't know how you judge another person's art, but the bottom line is the places are just not the function of the actual events they're just not being done right.
Okay.
In my mind, there's always a way to step up what's being done. For instance, we're here having an interview.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to step this up, right? We could have totally just been sitting here talking, or we could be talking into a tape recorder, but we're not. We're talking into microphones. We've got a full setup here. This is a real studio, right?
Because it makes you
there's
sound better.
There's a way to do the thing.
Right. Yeah,
so there's a way to do open mics. And coming from that entertainment background, where I was working with this entertainment company, producing events at Disney World and producing events at Backlash Universal Studios Hollywood, I understand like the wow factor for people and how that enhances the experience for people. So the visuals, the structure of the event, all that stuff has to be on point. And if it's not, I'm just kind of showing up for something, and I might have a good time, I might not. Now, even though those are still elements that aren't eliminated with Poetic Soul for people who've never been, when they come in, I know exactly what they're going to get. So I love to have the first timers into the building, because I'm like, you guys have no effing clue. This is about to be amazing. So it's a space that we invite in poets, musicians, vocalists, rappers, storytellers, comedians. It's a stage that's open for everybody, a platform and an environment where even community activists or members from the community can come in to get the word out about community initiatives or civic engagement activities or initiatives that they want to get involvement from the community on. So it's a space literally where we all just come together, speak easy style, but family, feel kind of woven in. We have a live band, which enhances the experience. Also, there's just something about live instrumentation that just takes music to another level.
So it's the same band every week?
Band every week, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Our house band. And a group of incredible musicians, and I can't talk about the band without like actually shouting out the band members. So this is like a form of payment for them too. I'm not paying you guys this week. Shout out to Raymond Forte on keys, Damon Mac Truck White, who plays the bass for us every week, Emmett Ray, who plays the drums, who's also one part of the Color 8 band, incredible band here. I'm sorry, to back up, David Mac Truck White is actually a part of a band also called Poetic Soul, which features the lead singer, his daughter, Desiree White, who's incredible.
Okay.
So that band's amazing. And then my main man Mike Brown, who plays congos and saxophone and flute and whatever else he decides to play. He comes in every single week, Key Innovative Solutions, to produce that sound of or that quality of sound for us also. So it's a really that band is like crazy good. They're crazy good. They're so good. But having them back up the performers as anybody, right? So whether you're doing a cover of a song, whether you just want to spit a poem, and they'll play some soft music behind you, just kind of riding with your rhythm, or whether you're just in there kind of reading people to ride out because your day was messed up, they can play some angry music behind you too, like whatever. So it's all fun. Best of all, I think the best part about Poetic Soul for me is, one, is the place where the chocolate people come and hang out, but two, we do these sing-alongs, right? So we, what happened during maybe the second ever Poetic Soul back in April of 2016, we had the song SWV's Week came on, and it was played over the loud sound system, so the band wasn't even playing this. And everybody in the room just broke out into singing. And I'm not just talking about they were singing, Kasha. They were singing like they were in the car, their eyes are closed, like the windows are up. They were singing their hearts out. And I was like, wow, maybe that's an element that we need to add and incorporate into this event. And I'd seen that happen in a few different places before. I said, you know what? I'm going to make this a conscious element of what we do. So every week we find these songs that people love, you know, that we're affection to, from old or those that are new, and we just sing them as a group. So it's a way to kind of include and involve everybody in the process, whether you sign the list to perform or not. You feel together because you've actually sang with these people beside you. So it's a different kind of experience. I promise it's like the best. There's nothing like it.
How long typically is a Poetic Soul event?
Mm-hmm. Well, the doors open at 7, and then the show begins from 8 o'clock, like the literal show, meaning I walk on stage, hey, welcome to Poetic Soul, and then we kick the show off from 8 o'clock until 11.
Okay.
Yeah, or they're about 11. Sometimes we go to 11:30, 12 o'clock. Depends on how many people in the building. Depends on how much synergy's in the building. We don't just shut it down, but we like to be respectful of people's time, so we try to keep it as close to 11 as we can.
Where do you hold Poetic Soul each week?
For now, we are every single Wednesday evening at Club Downtown, which is located at 702 North Central.
Okay. What are the cross streets?
Cross streets, Fillmore and McKinley.
Okay.
Sits directly across the street from Phoenix Public Market. Also sits, it's on the same block as the new Grand Central Coffee Shop.
Oh, okay.
So it shares that dwelling space. So yeah, it's a very easy location to find. It's parking, you know, all around, so it's easy to find parking. There's a huge parking lot that ASU has like directly across the street. It's a paid parking or parking on the street or parking that's directly associated or attached to the venue.
Okay.
But yeah, there's plenty of space to park.
Okay. So there is a fee to get in, which we can't discuss, but
it's going to cost you to get in to support the event, yes. And like I always like to say that because people say, "Oh, it's an open mic. I don't have to pay for that. Why do I have to pay? Why do I have to pay to perform?" I'm like, you do not have to pay to perform. You do not even have to pay to enter. But the bottom line is, in order for us to break the starving artist culture, we have to start to invest.
Which is very prevalent in this city.
We have to start investing in the artist. And the way that we hold and maintain good quality events and good quality spaces is we have to pay for the space. So if we have to pay for the space and we want to feed those musicians who are up there working hard to provide a great atmosphere, we have to charge. Good quality entertainment is not free.
Where can they go to find out what you charge?
Absolutely. They can find us on Facebook under Poetic Soul Phoenix or Poetic Soul Tucson. Or under the website, my website, which is www.qosmiccadence.com. And Cosmic and Cadence are spelled with Q's, so QOSMICQADENCE.com. And just check the events tab, and you can find all of the events that we're doing. We do a bowling night here. We do a weekly bowling night to draw out the community also. We're doing like so many different things. Check the website. There's too much stuff to run down, but we're just trying to synergize the
I might have to check out the bowling
night. Come on tonight.
There was one time I bowled, and I actually bowled a perfect score. And
oh, come on. Don't come.
Once.
It's embarrassing.
It was once. And I'm like, where did that come from? And then every other time I sucked.
Well, they say lightning doesn't strike twice, right? The same spot. That's good. You got your lightning.
So you've recently expanded to Tucson. So tell us about that and how that kind of.
Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm really crazy. Like I have heard the same things about Tucson, or having heard the same things about Tucson that I heard about Phoenix, which is like the black people don't like each other here. Black people won't work together. Black people don't go out.
Black people in Tucson?
There are black people in Tucson, oddly enough. There's just nothing for them to do.
Wow.
There's no reason for them to come out. So I wanted to take Poetic Soul down into that space, understanding what Poetic Soul has meant to the people here. I've had people here tell me all kinds of things, like the comments that they make and the commentary that we get from people who've experienced what we do here. We've been referred to as urban church. You know, people, I was like, literally, to make that church connection, I'm not a religious person, right? But I know of the connection of like that people make to church and how church sets you into a proper space. That we can provide that church kind of a rejuvenation and that feeling to set the rest of, or rather to set them in orbit for the rest of their week is powerful. So if I can take that and drop it in different markets to different people, I'm more than like happy and excited about doing that. At the same time, it gives us an opportunity to build a bridge between the Tucson community and also the Phoenix Black community, and that's what I'm looking to do. So I just want to kind of connect all these young professionals. There's some people down in Tucson who do some amazing things that we have no idea about because we don't know them. But if we knew them, they could help us advance the culture, advance, you know, our mission or larger mission, help us form or shape like a larger mission around togetherness here. That's all I want.
So well, I'm not going to call it an open mic. At Poetic Soul.
You better not.
At Poetic Soul, are some of the performers presenting pieces that maybe are maybe use profanity or certain language that some folks would.
There would. Now, first of all, there's an age limit, on this event. So it's given the proximity, given the location and where we host the event at Club Downtown, a spot called Club Downtown. Their rule, because of their liquor licensing, is 21 plus. 21 and up. So you absolutely have to be 21 years old. Now, anybody else who comes in, if they're offended by what these artists might express from the stage, being, I don't know, maybe slightly vulgar or whatever your definition of vulgarity is, profanity, if any instance of profanity is like offensive to you, this is probably not the environment for you, because we don't filter the artist. I'm not going to tell an artist not to express themselves the way that they express themselves. We've created a platform for them to do so. However, I can attest and 100% attest to the fact that this is not one of those environments where anybody's going to jump on the stage and they're not cursing you out. Nobody's spending 2-3 minutes on the microphone just dropping F-bombs everywhere. That's not that. But I mean, you will occasionally hear, some of that adult language and some adult content. But it's not that we're not just launching the thing up in there. No.
Okay. No. I'm curious what your thoughts are of the political climate. Locally and nationally.
Locally and nationally.
Since you're an artist as well.
The political climate is always has and always will be, I think, a climate that we can't control, to a degree. But that doesn't mean that because we can't control the climate, we can't get in and adapt and survive inside of the climate until we can get in and just make an adjustment that will allow us to kind of persevere. So politically in this country, obviously, Trump's your president. Congratulations. Trump and his regime and whomever else in office who is not quite for the people. That those people as a function of government are not brand new. He's not the first crazy, president or insane president or left field president with his perspective and his initiatives and policy that we've had. So this is not like a surprise or a shock, or I'm not afraid, right. I'm not fearful. Like you just, the world's going to blow up at some point. No, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Get over yourselves.
Right.
So we have to do the things that we need to do. Local politics. Arizona's so far behind. But what I mean by behind, when I say behind, Arizona's so far behind in engagement from the Black community politically, so far behind than most other places. And for anybody listening to the interview, they might be thinking, Arizona's far behind, the whole world is far behind, the whole country's far behind. So Arizona's farther behind than like any other that you can think of that's behind. So we have a lot of work to do here politically. To gain traction, to educate, the people, and we can't get the education out to the masses until we educate the most influential people. If we educate the most influential people, then it'll be a trickle-down effect through the rest. Because the bottom line is people like to associate themselves with positivity, they like to associate themselves with growth, and they like to be a part of the cool and in crowd. So if Black people are really doing something, politically here, where we have truly joined forces, with an educational component to teach them the importance of not just voting, but the importance of being present at your district meetings in your area or wherever you live, showing up at some of these hearings, to not allow the politicians on your off day, of course, not to allow the politicians to just sit in here and pass legislation all willy-nilly without testimony from the community or without the community showing outrage. We need not just sit back and keep watching the news to then get mad about some stuff, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Or it's even more damnable to say, well, I didn't even know that was happening. Why don't we know that it's happening? Because we're not engaged. So shout out to our lone African-American legislator, Reginald Bolden Jr., who does a great job fighting for the people, fighting for education, fighting for equity, fighting against this crazy policy amongst the police cameras, and he recently had policy added to the Arizona driver's manual the actual state mandated or recognized driving manual. So he added a section on how to interact with the cops when you have a weapon in the car. So here's a checklist of things that you need to do immediately to let them know, or to alert them to the fact that you have a weapon, to kind of disarm their aggression, right? So kudos to him for doing things like that. But he needs help. You know, we can't just rely on him to get in and sort of shape and change the policy.
I don't know if you're subconsciously saying black, but just for people listening to Radio Phoenix who can't see the video on YouTube, you are black.
Oh, I know. I'm like dark black too. Yeah, I know. I don't sound like it all the time, but Washington D.C., born and raised, black. You know.
Because I just thought, I'm like, oh yeah, people can't see him, so they're like,
yeah,
what is he talking about?
Yeah, I'm not against all people, but at this point, I just feel like it's time out for shaming our people for wanting to do something for our people. I don't have to convince people to buy white. No offense to white people, but I don't have to convince you to buy white. I don't have to preach to you to buy white. I don't have to advertise and post anywhere for you to buy white. Your people own all the businesses, so of course you buy white. Of course you spend white. But we have to get a hold on our own people here, economically, financially, mentally, politically, like in so many different spaces. And we have so many different areas to improve, not to attack. I hear people say this all the time. We have attack this, attack that. Like, why are you beating people up? Attack's the wrong word. You know what I mean? You don't attack ignorance. You educate. You know what I mean? You don't educate by attacking. That's not the way it works. So we have to correct a lot of different systems and really build the infrastructure. And so maybe correct is not even the right word. We just have to build infrastructure. And when we bring people into spaces of building, everybody gets excited about building and working towards something collaboratively, not being told what to do. So.
All right, so let's shift gears for a second.
Sweet. Shifting gears is good.
So you're also an artist. So how would you define your art that you do? Do you consider yourself a spoken word artist, or do you consider yourself just an artist?
That's a great question, Qosmic. I feel like as an artist, I've evolved, in a sense. A part of my forcing myself into artistry was to break out of this shell of like not performing, or being, I guess, kind of having stage fright or not really wanting to put myself out there. So I began as a poet, and in the space of me writing poetry for years. When I say for years, I literally mean I wrote over 500 poems before I shared one publicly. And by the time I found this building, which is the Phoenix Center for the Arts, and the Infuse Open Mic, which takes place once a month on Sundays, I think third Sunday of the month or second Sunday. It's the very first place I ever performed out here in Phoenix, and I performed as a poet. So performing in this space, or finding a space to perform, or in doing so finding the space, the emotional space to get out and perform, I realized that I had to really share everything, right? So share my gifts totally and completely, and I needed to not be afraid to like sing. So I began to incorporate a bit of my singing into the poems, and so that was some 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. And now I've got myself into the space with like Poetic Soul, where I do more singing than I do poetry, So I'm classically the person leading the sing along, so I'm up there doing like the song. So I'm not necessarily pigeonholing myself into even the space of just being a poet these days. I'm an artist, whatever that means. So yeah, I'm an artist. Spoken word, poet, singer, whatever you need. I'll rap too, whatever. It's the same thing.
I think that was the last one.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm going to run and get you some water.
So what I'm going to ask is, can you do a piece or something newer?
Oh, absolutely. Let me see. What can I do? That doesn't have profanity in it. Oh, yeah. This one. Yeah, this one worked. I've gotta press on for me. I've gotta believe on the day when destiny meets timing that I will achieve. I know I've gotta press on for me. I've gotta believe on the day when destiny meets fate's timing that I will achieve. Fools rush in. Be patient, they've advised. Good things come to those who wait. You'll be fine. Made perfect sense. Seem legit, and besides, it's crazy not heeding instruction received from the wise. Am I not right? Though what if waiting is actually wasting and complacent we died? Not quite the reward you had in mind. Now am I lying? They say we shouldn't question God's will, but bruh, it's decision-making time. I am sick of idle listening, refuse to waste existence. And never mind the nonsense kicked by popular opinion, I'm going for mine. With fearless strides, empowered by energies divine, who through my work so brightly shine that darkness hides. I am lantern's candle, raging inferno, and within the hands that drew these plans, dance fire. That's that piece.
So, what was that about?
Perseverance and just pushing yourself through regardless. Not sitting by idle and waiting while life happens to you, but getting out into the mix and sort of making life happen for yourself. You know what I mean? What if all the best things in life didn't come to you? What if you just sat by waiting for that day to come and that day never arrived? You know, so you've wasted, in effect, a bunch of days that you could have been putting some action toward doing some things while you were just waiting for the sky to crack and for God to say, it's your time now. It's like, I just don't believe in that. You know, so I feel like even in the space of Arizona, a lot of the poems that I do are like motivation for myself. But in the space of being out here in Arizona, nobody's giving me anything. I've jumped out here and made and created the spaces for me to gain opportunities or put myself into position to take advantage of some of these opportunities. So in that sense, I'm kind of trying to lead by example. So all my poetry, not all of it, I have some stuff that's more adult and blah. So all of it's not about inspiring like life in that sense, but it could be still inspiring life. So yeah, just kind of wanted to inspire people to live bigger. You know what I mean? To stop playing ourselves so small, and to like really believe in our potential to be, and to elevate, life all around us and not just for ourselves.
Who do you model yourself after, if anyone?
As far as artistry,
or in general,
period,
yeah.
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody. I have a lot of people that I look up to and that I admire for being like sticklers of whatever their belief systems are, or for being resilient, in these spaces, for their longevity in spaces, like shout out to Calvin Good Sr., who I admire greatly. I've been in this space a lot here since I've been here in Phoenix, and just understanding what he's done politically and what he's meant to Arizona as a whole. I'm sort of standing on the shoulders of Calvin Good now with a lot of the things that I do, and it's not just me, it's all of us, So those kinds of people inspire me to pick up and take the baton and just keep running with it, because they've done so much. And I'm not even from here, but I understand that it's my responsibility to do with my life, something great, and not necessarily what somebody else did. So for that reason, I don't model myself after some, other people. I just kind of look at what they've done, and I gain inspiration in that way to say, good, if they can do something great, I can do something great. Yeah, but not necessarily like I have a little bit of this and a little bit of him, and a little, like, I gain inspiration from a lot of different spaces, but not necessarily molding myself after someone else.
In the minute or so that we got left, it's not going to be one of those questions. If an artist wanted to participate in Poetic Soul, either in Phoenix or Tucson, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, first of all, they wouldn't have to contact me at all. They just have to know that the Phoenix event takes place at Club Downtown on Wednesdays in Phoenix, every single Wednesday. We've been doing this for 16 months straight, and we ain't going nowhere. So they just have to get there to sign the list. There's only 25 slots on the list. And it's first sign, first perform. There are no favorites. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your talent is. I've had so many people and artists that I've worked with over the years come to me and say, KQ, I know the list is full, but can you get me on it? I'm like, no, that's not what we do here. You got to get here early enough to respect the process. So the event in Tucson takes place on Thursdays, same deal. Just come down, sign the list. If there's space for you to perform, we'll totally rock out with you.
Is it the same time on Thursday?
Same time on Thursdays in Tucson. A place called Club Downtown. Place called Club 4th Avenue. Club 4th. I think it's the technical name of the place, Club 4th. which is located at 1901 or 1902 North 4th Avenue, directly across the street from the Mi Inedito, Mexican restaurant. So it's really easy to find on 4th Avenue.
Okay.
Yep. Doors open at 7. Show runs 8 o'clock to 11.
For people that want to just stay in contact with you and like follow you as an artist, how do they do that?
Do so by following me on Facebook or Instagram under Qosmic Qadence. Again, that's QOSMIC. On Instagram, it's an underscore after Qosmic and then the word Cadence, QADENCE. On Facebook, that's just Qosmic and Qadence, no underscore, no spaces, or rather space it, Qosmic and Qadence, and it should pop up.
Okay.
Like the only legitimate Qosmic who spelled the Q on Facebook.
Okay.
Search for the black guy with the huge smile. It'll pop up.
Well, thank you for being here. We got to have you on our local sort of music arts show.
That'll be dope.
Rise on a Wednesday night. Well, actually,
it's on Wednesday nights.
It's on Wednesday.
Live broadcast.
That's what I was thinking.
Live broadcast. We got the space. I have the space. Let me know when you're ready. Okay. I have the space available for you to come in and just totally occupy the space. We might have to talk about that. Let's get some interviews going. Let's get some artist synergy going here. I'm with it. All right, cool. Well, thank you, Qosmic Qadence, for being here. Absolutely.